4, 3, 2, 1.
I started running when I was 9 years old in the Arizona desert. We lived in the southwest corner in this town called Yuma, right on the Mexican border, and my dad would run this loop across the street from our house that went out through the desert, and he would let me go running with him. So I would hang on as long as I could, and then either I'd turn around and go home, or I'd finish the loop by myself. You know, so leaving a 9-year-old kid out in the desert on the Mexican border probably ended my dad up in jail today, but you know, back then I was never upset, I was never sad, I was never frightened. I was always excited to be out there, and when I finished those runs alone, I had this intoxicating sense of independence, and that independence really, you know, it drove me who I became as a runner, and more importantly, it really molded me for who I became as an adult. In August 2004, I was biking 350 miles a week and running 60-65 miles a week and swimming another 7. You know, all those miles, all that time was spent alone, and I loved it. That all changes in one instant with one little word. You know, when the doctor tells you your wife has cancer, and you've been spending every free moment of your time on a frickin' bicycle or running or in the pool, it really hits hard. The joy was zapped. I could not run 10 steps without feeling like I was the most selfish person in the world. All running and biking were things that took me away from my family. And I couldn't control whether cancer did that, but I can definitely control whether I did that. So I quit. I literally quit running. I sold my bike and I never went back to the pool again. In 2008, we got a dog, and Maka, he had a lot of energy. I started running him so I wouldn't have to replace all my furniture in the house. And eventually, you know, it was no longer a chore for me to take him running, but it became something that I enjoyed. And, you know, for the first time in 4 years, I found joy in running again. But in 2009, I got a phone call out of the blue. a guy from a unit called me up and said, "Hey, can you come to the Middle East with us for the next year?" So I did. You know, when I came home, life was very different. I was very different. Found myself in this hole. And as much as my wife tried to help me out of the hole, I thought that she was the person digging the hole. You know, within 6 months of me being home, we were separated. My wife basically begged me to just give us one more chance and our family one more chance. You know, I was planning on running 2012 miles for 2012, and Malia asked if she can partake in that goal with me. I don't know if running will save everyone's marriage. It definitely brought us closer. You know, running is no longer an activity. It has become a community to me. The closest friends I have, the dearest people I know, those relationships have either started or been solidified by this simple act of putting on a pair of shoes and heading out the door for a run. Javelina is my running coming full circle from this little kid in the desert who just loved running alone to this old kid in the desert who loves running with other people.